Hello and welcome to episode 57 of Speak Free with MattyG. We are joined here today by Retro from Retro Rugba Leeg, content creator, rugby league enthusiast. You just played in the charity match yesterday, actually.
I did, yes.
And I was there, watched you. Great game of footy. But yeah, you guys were unlucky.
Oh, we came so close. Like, I was sitting there, I think at one stage it was like 34-6. And then someone mentioned, I think we scored one try, and someone said, I think we can score 3 tries in 11 minutes, or whatever the scoreline was. And then it happened, and I was lucky enough to be the person who passed it from dummy half. I didn't even know I was cutting out Mitch Pearce and Todd Carney on the left. I just heard the call behind me from Stratus, passed it out on the right. He put that kick through. Adrian scored in the corner. I thought we had the win. And then we got a penalty because we had 14 people on the field somehow. And
no different to Melbourne Storm the whole time. With
a minute later, they went over in the corner. We had 14 seconds left. Carney kicked it. Brandon Savage caught it, and that was the end of the game. So it was a little disappointing, but it was a fantastic day. Well done to the guys from Sportshed TV that put on awesome event. I don't know what the figures were in terms of what they raised, but I think it was heading in a very positive direction. So,
yeah. For those that don't know, Sportshed TV do a charity match. It's the third year running, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, third year running. Whole bunch of content creators. They had some ex-NRL players playing as well. Mitch Pearce and Todd Carney were your halves.
They were. And great guys too. Great to chat to. Very humble people. And that, because they're new into that kind of content space as well, just keen to ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah, that's
so great guys, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, great crowd there. Had a lot of good convos with people on the sideline. But yeah, supporting a great cause too. It was for Mark Hughes Foundation and the Goanna Academy. So obviously you were representing the Goanna Academy.
Yeah, which I actually asked to, because I got a real heart for Indig kids. I used to work with Indig kids up in central Queensland, a little town called Billawheeler. So it was great to meet GI was in the sheds yesterday.
Yeah, I met him on the sideline actually.
Kennedy Cherrington was also there. She's doing fantastic things in NRLW.
Fantastic. I used to work with her mum actually.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So I actually went with her whole family to watch her play Origin.
Okay.
When they played at Combank, I think her first year playing Origin. Yeah.
I think she's doing something. Sorry, this is a digression. Doing something really special in the NRLW space. She's the first NRLW villain. So I remember seeing on a Facebook post someone saying, "Oh, that grub Kennedy Cherrington. Every game she does this." That means someone's watching every game and a particular player who they dislike. That's a huge step. That goes away from the sympathy watchers to real fans switching on NRLW. That's a big step.
100%. And that's equality, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you have haters as well, you know, as fans, man, that's good. That's what you want. That's what you want. Well, obviously, we're going to do a two-part episode, 2 episodes together. This first one, we're going to do a bit of a preview of the NRL season. As when this comes out, it will be the Vegas games have just been played, and we will be ready for the rest of round 1. And then obviously looking forward to the rest of the season as well. And then the second part, we're going to talk a little bit more about you and your sort of journey with in the content creation space and sort of how you've built quite a following for yourself. So yeah, keen to get into it. Now this season, obviously, I'm a West Tigers, fucking tragic. Sorry for swearing. But I love my club, but it's been 15 years of misery and hell. And I must say, and I probably, to anyone who knows me and hangs out with me, probably says I say this every year, but this year I do actually have quite a good feeling. Yeah. And I think we've bought well. We sort of started to sort out our top end sort of problems in terms of the office, the board, and the like. And I think Shane Richardson is fantastic for the club. Obviously, I'm not too happy about playing games at Combank again, but that's where the corporate money is, unfortunately. Which if we could play every game at Leichhardt, I would.
Do you prefer Leichhardt or Concord? If you had to pick between the two.
Oh, Leichhardt.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Concord's great for like what it is as a training ground and facilities. And it makes sense to be sort of in between Campbelltown and Leichhardt. I mean, obviously it's a lot closer to Leichhardt than it is Campbelltown, but to sort of have that base in between both, because I think when you choose, if we had our base just at Campbelltown or our base just at Leichhardt, I think it cuts out sort of the history of another club. And but in terms of watching footy, nothing beats Leichhardt for me.
I've never been to Leichhardt. I have to try and tick it off the list. The 8th wonder of the world, of course, everyone says. So I'd like to sit. It's a great spectacle looking on TV with that big tree in the background.
Oh,
That's a fantastic
And when
image.
it's a full hill, especially on a Sunday arvo when the sun's shining on that hill and
Yeah.
you just get that sea of orange, it's just, it's insane. And just the crowd just turns up.
Yeah.
It's just awesome atmosphere.
Well, someone said the other day, who do you think who's got the best supporter base? And I was thinking, maybe the Warriors or Broncos or something. And someone said West Tigers. I said, yeah, because I wouldn't have stuck with them for that long. It's been 20 years since 2005 grand final.
Yeah.
And there's been absolutely dismal years in there. And there's some disgusting things that have gone on. You just look at it and you go, why would you be a West Tigers fan? I think a bunch did jump ship to the Dolphins when they came in.
Yeah, and that was when we beat Dolphins that year. We only versed them once in that season, but when we beat the Dolphins, God, that was nice because I knew a few people who jumped ship.
The disloyal few. Yeah, you got to be something special to be a West Tigers fan. To hang in there all those years, you got to be a real true blue supporter.
Yeah. It hasn't been easy. It has not been easy. I've put so much money into the club too through memberships and jerseys and whatnot. But I wouldn't change it, because I always see things as in the long run,
Yeah.
And I just think how sweet is it going to be after all the shit everyone's
Yeah.
talked. And I've never, no one could ever call me a bandwagoner. We could lose, you would get 3 wooden spoons in a row and I'm still wearing my jersey out, in public proudly, So when we do finally have some glory, it's going to be real nice.
Yeah.
Real nice.
And I mean, we saw that back in 2014 with South Sydney, didn't we? Kicked out of the comp, come back. It's a pretty special moment. We have Russell Crowe and that other bloke, ringing the bell. That's the real stories that when you travel through that hardship. Cronulla fans only broke that recently after 50 years. Penrith, not that long ago, were absolute cellar dwellers. And now look at them. I mean, they're the kings of the West and kings of the NRL. So, hopefully...
What Penrith have done is insane.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see it. I don't think we'll ever see something quite like it again.
I agree with you, but I think there are lessons for success that a lot of NRL teams would be silly not to take on board. And the pitching and creating a junior base and aiming things at the youth is the number one aim of the game.
Yeah.
And any other club that is not doing that is shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, agree. Obviously Penrith's quite lucky in terms of the amount of space they have in terms of what they cover.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's just how people are bred out here as well. I think people are bred to love rugby league. I don't think that exists as much in other places. It's sort of no real shock to me that Penrith have had this success just from playing in the Penrith Junior Comp and seeing that sort of come to fruition. Mates that have been chosen for representative football and that have come up through the ranks and just seeing how their system is in play. It was only a matter of time before they got this to win 4 straight that has shocked me, to be honest. That's next level. Especially with the amount of players they've lost as well. And that will continue to happen as they continue having success,
This is actually my first time being to Penrith. I'd never been here before. So I live in the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, so a bit of a trek. But I've only seen this place on TV. It's very hot, so it lives up to up to the reputation.
It is.
But what I did see on the drive here was someone wearing a Panthers jersey. And I've actually just having a chat with Winston Neville the other day, and he was saying certainly where he is in Belmore, it's kind of frowned upon to wear rugby league jerseys just out and about like everyday wear. But for me in Queensland, it's very common. Not just Broncos and Dolphins and whatever jersey, but just anything. I mean, I almost exclusively wear rugby league jerseys all year round. I'm not joking. For me to wear a normal shirt before is pretty abnormal. But yeah, apparently it's just not as big a thing here. But it seems here in Penrith, it's a bit more Queensland-like where rugby league is fashion and that's just A-OK.
Yeah, 100%. It's a very Western Sydney thing, I think.
Okay.
In Sydney you wouldn't see it too much. But especially around Penrith, Parramatta especially, like go through Westfields at Parramatta, you'll see plenty of Para jerseys, plenty of Penrith jerseys, Tigers jerseys, Any of those Western Sydney hotspots, Macarthur region, you'll see a lot of West jerseys. But yeah, Penrith, especially with the amount of success they had, every man and their dog is proud to be a Panther
let's not
supporter.
pretend there's a few bandwagoners along the way there. Let's not kid ourselves.
Let's just say they didn't used to sell out Thursday night games.
Well, that's right.
But no, it's great to see. It's great for the area as well. I'm from the Hawkesbury area, which is just outside of Penrith. It's the next LGA, and just the pride I think it brings to an area like this is just it can't be measured. And it's not just rugby league either. We've seen UFC, Rob Whittaker and Tai Tuivasa and these great athletes that are representing Western Sydney. Tyson Pedro, it's just what used to be sort of I guess people look down on the West. I don't think people are looking down on the West as much anymore.
I recall hearing an interview with Mark Geyer where he said he used to change the postcode and the address on his applications for jobs because if he wrote Mount Druitt, people wouldn't hire him. Now this is like the place to be. All the boys talking about it was what's the rap group from around here that everyone likes? 1-4? Yeah, like the fact that that's cool. That's a huge departure from where we were 10, 15, whatever years ago.
Yeah.
It's very hard to quantify those kind of things, but the cultural shift is massive.
Yeah, massive. Now, this year, obviously, you're a diehard Chookies supporter.
I am, yes.
How do you think Chookies are going to go this year?
Look, I don't hold out too much. Well, we're not in the premiership. Let's get that straight. I don't think anyone thinks that.
Tell Brody that.
Well, Hainsey, I think Hainsey had an interview with Mitch Pearce and Todd Carney after the game yesterday, and I think he started his hopes up a little higher than what I sank afterwards. Look, if we make the 8, that'd be fantastic. I'm kind of expecting that we don't. However, we do have some really strong cattle, and this is the year to go back to that old Bondi Wall style mentality of just true grit and defensive structures and just being hard as nails. And we've got some of those guys in the squad. The Angus Crichtons of the world, Spencer Lenu. There's a kind of unflinching characters. So Lindsay Collins. We can do that. I don't think we have the flair and the star power to keep up with the Panthers and the Melbournes. And I hate to say it, the Brisbane Broncos. And I don't know if this is going to spoil later on, but I think they'll win the premiership this year.
Really?
Yeah. I think Ben Hunt is the missing piece of that puzzle. I mean, you're trying to penetrate the middle of the Broncos when you got Ben Hunt defending in the middle, Pat Carrigan and Payne Haas either side. That is a very tough middle to crack.
Yeah.
Plus the attacking power out wide of Ezra Mam. Everyone's saying Adam Reynolds is only playing on one leg. Cooper Cronk played with one shoulder in the grand final. It can be done.
Yeah.
The flair outside Jesse Arthur's, man of the match in that Māori game the other night. There is a lot to like about the Brisbane Broncos, and I'm not very far from. I will never wear a Brisbane jersey, but I think they'll win it in 2025.
Okay, good prediction. Maguire's a great coach as well.
Yes.
So
yeah,
and and people, a lot of people I've talked to about this will go, "Oh, but he didn't do anything at the Tigers." Okay, but he wasn't the right coach for the Tigers either.
But who did?
Yeah, no one.
Not even Tim Sheens 2.0 did.
And also, Maguire got them closer than anyone else had.
Yeah.
We finished 9th, I think, twice under Maguire. And, I think, I mean, Maguire's he won't ask a player to do something unless he'll do it himself. Like, he's a very fit, very involved sort of coach.
Yeah.
But he's also very tough. And I think Tigers I think they were too pussy to step up.
Well, he used to say that. I think it was in the Tales of Tiger Sounds, saying, I've got a bunch of reserve graders who are willing to come in here and die for this jersey if you aren't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, if they buy into the model, if the Brisbane Broncos buy into what Maguire is offering, I believe they'll win a premiership, if not this year, next. If they don't, and there has already been, now what this is, I don't know, but there was a Buzz Rothfield article, for all that's worth, the other day saying that there's rumblings of discontent. That will be disastrous. And we kind of have seen that previously. It looks like from the outside things are going well and other people aren't happy and it doesn't play together. But if they buy in, just for a single season, they will win a premiership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised to see them do so poorly last year, 2024, after obviously, almost winning the comp.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, everyone was so in love with Kevy the year before, bar Selwyn Cobbo, but over that now on this podcast. But just to go from making a grand final one year, having a ton of injuries, and then everyone being off you, I feel sorry for Kevy. Like, the way that seemed to happen with reportedly QR code style reviews, you didn't have to put your name on, and he just got railroaded by the whole thing. Didn't seem to see it coming. Now, this is all the outside looking in. I don't know what it's like on the inside, but that sounds pretty rough to me.
Yeah.
Particularly when you brought in Kevin, you're saying, we're going back to the good old days of the boys club. And you're gone.
Yeah.
So something's not quite right there.
Yeah.
But I think if they can buy in for the Maguire years, they'll have some good times. That won't last because I think Maguire is just short-term guy, like so hard-working. But we saw with South Sydney, it may not be a forever thing because you can't keep that up. But I think they may have a clue on that.
Yeah. Who do I see winning the comp? It's... I think Melbourne are a really good chance.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I can't rule out Penrith either.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And you can't do it, yeah.
And I can't. I think this will be their toughest test without Jerome there, especially if something happens to Cleary.
Yep.
Because Jerome really, really stepped up. I don't think he gets enough credit for how much he steered that ship last year.
Yep.
With Cleary out for extended periods of time.
And in Origin too.
Yes.
Game 3 was probably man of the match.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see him play for the Tigers.
Yeah.
I hope he plays in the trial this. For those that this will obviously come out obviously after the trials are done, but we got a trial against Parramatta at Leichhardt on Friday, so I'm very excited for that. So
I know other Tigers fans are excited about it because I can tell by their buying habits. Like they are buying more Tigers gear than they have ever sold.
Really, yeah.
So they are pumped and ready to go.
Well, even our memberships, I was thinking about. I've stalled on getting a membership this year just because I don't know why. I don't really have an answer for it other than I'm lazy. But I obviously will get a membership. But I was even thinking about getting maybe we have like 2 of the VIP sort of tier memberships, which is like one's for $2,500, you get invited to everything, awards nights, all that sort of shit. And then we have like a $900 one, which you get invited to quite a lot of stuff, a lot of more access to the players and stuff, and like a gold tier seated membership. And I went on, I was like, I'll probably get the $900 one, and then I looked on there, sold out. First time I've ever seen that. I've been a member for years, and that's the first time I've ever seen those sort of like level of memberships be sold out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, something's changing.
There's something really interesting going on at West at the moment. So, you talk about Shane Richardson before, you talk about Jerome Luai. There's 2 messaging things that have come out in this off-season that I think are really important at revving up Tigers fans, apologies. One is Jerome Luai saying, I watched every Tigers game twice, and we could have won however many of them if I was playing. Okay, that does a couple of things. As a Tigers fan, I'm sitting there, I'm getting filled with confidence, and I'm liking the arrogance of what he's bringing, but I'm also hearing hardworkingness. Now, from a character who's been very flamboyant, and yes, not the party boy, but he's the jovial character and sometimes the villain, I'm not hearing that displayed. I'm hearing hard work and ethic. That's good.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Shane Richardson came out and said, we have the best spine in the comp. Now, it's a ridiculous statement to make, but it's the ridiculousness of it that is actually brilliant because everyone else in the room laughs, which solidifies West Tigers fans to get behind their group. And they say, everyone's laughing. It's real Ricky Stewart stuff. Yeah. Everyone's laughing at us. Let's show them that we're the best.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that just G'ing you up as a Tigers fan?
100%.
There you go.
And you know what? And that shit always G's me up. I remember, not last year, when was it? The year before. Maybe the year before. When did we have, what's the fucking fella from Newcastle?
Jackson Hastings.
Hastings.
Yep.
When we hadn't won a game and it was coming up to Easter Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Easter Monday. Should have been. Yeah, it was. It was Easter Monday. I'm wearing a Magpies jersey out on Easter Sunday at a local pub. So many people are giving me shit, right? Coming up to me going, no, you're going to get flogged by Parramatta tomorrow. You're going to get flogged. And I'm thinking, you know what? I reckon we're actually going to win our first game.
Yeah.
I really had that confidence. I went, you know what?
Now, this is the game where Clint Gutherson misses the conversion to win.
No. that was last year, but that was also brilliant.
Yes, and Dave Clemmer's doing these ones
that's
right up in his face.
At that moment, I bought the grand final tickets thinking we're in.
Oh, no.
But no, it was, so we hadn't, I think it was maybe round 7 or so, 2023. We hadn't won, we'd lost 6 straight. So everyone already ruled us out. I think we started the game at $6.50 favourites or something.
Yep.
$6.50 underdogs. And I just thought, you know what? I reckon we're going to take on Parramatta. And then when Jackson Hastings kicked that winning field goal, I just thought, you know what? Everyone who talked shit yesterday, and it was such a good feeling. And I'm like, and I feel like that is sort of the camaraderie that West Tigers fans have going into this year.
Yep.
Is that no one, even still, like all the predictions I've seen so far on where they think the teams are going to finish, they all have Tigers finishing in bottom 3.
Yep.
Most of them. And I'm thinking, you know what? I can't wait to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And that's exact mentality. I don't think in the last 3 to 5 years, West Tigers have had a reason to believe. They've had a hope. They're just surviving on hopium, but they haven't had a real reason to believe.
Yeah.
But you're reuniting Jerome and Appy.
Yeah.
You've got some solid forwards in there, and guys who won't quit. Like who's the Lebanese guy who scored the one try? Alex Twal. No quit in him. Just tough as nails. There's some things to like there, and some young guys coming through that could do. It'll have to be pretty magic. And it'll have to be 05-esque, just riding on this kind of wave of enthusiasm. But I believe it can be done.
So you think the Tigers are going to make the 8?
I think they will make 8th spot, yes. I've said this multiple times over the last couple of weeks, and when no one else believes me, I think they'll make the 8. Believe.
I do believe. I do believe. But God, I'd be so happy. I don't think I felt real happiness like that since
2005.
Well, last time we made the finals, but that was shocking too. 2010, that was great between us.
That was great. That's an epic. I didn't get to watch that game. I was out at a party, and then I thought, it probably wasn't much for a game to watch. And I'm reading news articles, and this is the greatest rugby league all time. And I missed it.
So have you always grown up in Queensland?
No. So I was born in Box Hill, in Victoria. So originally, when I was a kid, I was a Melbourne Storm fan. Now, when I started as a kid, I kind of really only started following rugby league properly, club rugby league, in about 99. I watched State of Origin before that. By that time, we were living in Queensland, but we'd also lived in New South Wales and other places in between. So I'm a Blue, even though I live in Queensland, I was still stuck as a Blue. And I remember the 99 grand final. It's the first grand final I ever watched start to finish. And of course, it ends with the penalty try, Melbourne win. But not long after that, a lot of my favourite Melbourne players left. So you had Marcus Bai out the door, and Brett Camorley, Robbie Ross, Glenn Lazarus. And so I was on the hunt for something else, and I found the Roosters. And in the year 2000, they made the grand final, and I was locked in. That was my team from then on out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I've always supported Tigers. My dad was a Magpies supporter.
Yep.
So he grew up in Granville, which was Magpies territory then when they played at Lidcombe. And obviously that became Parramatta territory once Parramatta came in and they relocated to Campbelltown. But he stuck with Magpies since then. Tommy Raudonikis was his favourite player. Tommy Raudonikis actually, there's a photo. My nan's got it. Well, she had it. She's passed now. But a photo of Tommy Raudonikis giving my dad a best and fairest trophy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As a kid?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So my dad's got this like long blonde hair. That's crazy. It's awesome. But yeah, so that's sort of been ingrained in me, and obviously I went down that path. My brother went down the path of supporting your local team, so he supported Penrith Panthers.
Yep.
And he's been a lot happier than me these last 4 years.
But there would have been a time where you would have been up and he would have been down, would you not?
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember our first time versing them after Ivan Cleary left.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not first time, second time. I think we versed them at Magic Round, actually.
Yeah, okay.
And we flogged Penrith.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
I remember messaging my brother going, yeah, fuck.
Oh, wasn't that the one where they were banging on Ivan Cleary's window?
Yeah. Oh, man, how good. But that was, and that's what a lot of people say to me, because I've got a bit of soft spot for Penrith. I grew up going to all the games, because back then you got like a little card when you played footy, and you could go to your local team. So because we're in the Penrith comp, we could go to all the Penrith games.
Yeah, right.
Now it's sort of like it's different. You can just redeem tickets online to go to any game you want if there's available. Yeah. So yeah, we spent pretty much better part of 10 years going to every single Panthers game.
Oh,
so,
really?
I was a Tigers fan, but I watched probably more Penrith footy than I did my own club.
Yeah.
So I've always had a bit of a soft spot, and then obviously I've seen some mates go up through the ranks and people I've grown up with and that. So it's cool to see their success, and I could just never be a hater. People call me a closet Penrith supporter because I'm like, because everyone calls them arrogant, and I'm really like, I just hate the tall poppy syndrome in this country.
Yeah,
like I just think if you've won 4 straight premierships, like, okay, they can party.
Yeah, that's right.
Let them party.
Yeah.
And what are we also scared of partying for? Like when I came back here after the grand final last year onto the streets of Penrith, and seeing people hanging out their car and shirts off and hanging out of a sunroof. I'm like, this is Australia, mate. This is what it's all about. Like none of this pussying, like, oh, go home and go to bed after the fucking grand final. Like,
well, and that's what I've always been disappointed. Years that Roosters won the grand final, I was living in Queensland, and so I'd be G'd up and I'd go home, and there's nothing going on. And I would have to go home and go to bed. And that was the end of it for me.
Yeah.
And I might buy the paper the next morning and see the Roosters on the back. That's the best I
Yeah.
could muster.
Tell you what, if Tigers, because obviously I was real young when we won our premiership in 2005, but if Tigers win the premiership in, between now and when I die.
Where would the party be?
Well, hopefully I rebuild Balmain Leagues because that would be fucking awesome. But I will say it right now. I'm going to go on a month-long bender. I'm not coming home for a month. I'm fucking partying the whole time.
So let's say tomorrow West Tigers win the grand final. I know the dating's not right. Where does the bus go back to right now?
I think Leichhardt Oval.
Sure. Is there like a club there or something?
There's Orange Grove pub. It's a tiny little pub, but I tell you what, on game day it's awesome because it's just jam packed. Yeah. It's so awesome. I don't know how it would handle after winning a premiership, because God, it can hardly handle a loss after a Leichhardt game. The amount of people that pour in there, but I think Leichhardt Oval itself would be. I think they just open it up because it actually is a community park outside of like footy days.
Yeah, well, it's still owned by the council, isn't it?
Yes.
That's kind of the issue.
Yeah. So I think just letting people pour in there, set up a few big screens, people can watch that can't make it to the actual game, can watch it there, and then send the party thereafter, have the team do a parade and get on the piss with the fans, I reckon. I reckon that's awesome. But yeah, that would probably be it. But obviously we've got West Ashfield's Leagues Club as well.
Yeah.
So that will be a place to kick on.
Yeah.
But Balmain Leagues Club definitely needs to be rebuilt because you've got a whole lot of nightlife around there as well.
Yeah, okay.
Which would be, great to party.
Yeah.
If we won a premiership, hopefully. Please God.
One day. It has happened surely.
Yeah.
Before the sun explodes, before Parramatta win their premiership.
I hate Parramatta. I must say, you know what? I was at the Cogra game yesterday and seeing Gutho, he warmed up just in front of us. Seeing him in a Dragons jersey instead of a Para jersey, I instantly hated him less.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
I was like, yeah, I can actually get behind him. Some blokes were yelling out to him, some Bulldogs fans were like, "Oh, fuck Parramatta, eh?" And he's just laughing, he's giving him thumbs up and that. I'm like, I actually like the guy now. He used to be my most hated player. So it's funny when it's.
What's he going to do though? They've got a real tough stance on diving. It's a string out of his bow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well,
which I'm very pro. Like there was a penalty apparently the other night against Ronaldo Militalo, if that's the right person. And everyone was like, "Oh, what are we doing?" He's just. Oh, no, it wasn't even a penalty. The referee just warned him, "Stop thrashing around trying to get a penalty. You're milking." And went, "Oh, that's so over the top." You can't just start letting the little things back in. If we're cracking down, we're cracking down, and that's all. It's just a warning. There's nothing that bad. But if we've got to get that out of the game, we're going to have to cop a few little penalties along the way to just eradicate it and then get back to just being honourable people. 100%. Is it really that hard?
Well, that's what made rugby league so good growing up. It's only been recently I've become a bit of a soccer fan. But me and all my mates used to be like, "Soccer's for pussies, mate. Look at them. Look at them roll around on the ground." And rugby league's becoming that.
Yeah.
So
we don't really have a leg to stand on anymore to point the finger and say, "Oh, look at those people rolling around." When you have people just running into each other like this and scarecrows on the floor. It's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, bring back some common sense into rugby league and get rid of that shit. And you've instantly got a better game.
Well, I would actually say bring back some honour into rugby. It's common sense to play for the penalty because it gets you something.
That's true.
Honour says I'll suffer for it and I'll do the right thing.
Yeah.
That's what's missing.
Yeah. Do you have any strange or sort of out there predictions for this upcoming season? It doesn't have to be in terms of where you think people are going to finish. It could be crazy things like, someone gets done for a drug charge or...
Well, I hope not. I know. I mean, I suppose the West Tigers making the 8 and the Broncos win the premierships are probably slightly out there ones.
Yeah.
I don't think Canberra Raiders will finish last. Everyone thinks that they will. I think they're just too gritty.
Who do you think finishes last?
St. George.
Really?
Yeah. I just don't see much that excites me / strikes fear in me about them. But Canberra are just it's just real Ricky Stewart stuff, right? So they're not the most talented, but they have this young, gritty squad. They still have a few old heads. Papali's still banging around, Tarpany.
Yeah.
They've got enough in them to just scrap out some wins, particularly in Canberra. No one wants to play in the cold. No one wants to live in Canberra. So I don't see them finishing last.
And a coach who just would go out and die for his players.
I wonder what it would take for Canberra to get rid of Ricky Stewart.
He must have videotapes of some people, hey? Real bad ones.
I'm not saying they should, but you got to wonder. It's kind of a similar thing. What would it take for the Roosters to get rid of Trent Robinson? Because I think he's a life member.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what that would be.
Yeah.
Scandal aside, of course. I'm just talking purely performance-wise.
Yeah. Well, that's what I also worry about with Tigers now because they've got Benji, and it's like, but in saying that, they've let him go before as a player. So
this is really his testing year, though, because this is his first one
with his sort of roster.
Everyone's backed him, and when there was conflicts between him and that other person who was a recruitment manager, let the recruitment manager go. This is everything Benji wanted, the way he wanted, with good heads above him, and Shane Richardson. They took the barber out of Concord. Everything's business. I'm not saying he has to be super successful, but this is his year where he can't turn around. Nor do I think he was looking for the excuse to say, "Oh well, this so and so thing happened."
Yeah.
I think he's got this year in the bag. Next year, you'd probably back him in as still remaining as coach. Anything after that without success, and the guillotine starts to swing.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I just think they can't do what they've done in the past and freak out halfway through a season and go, "Oh, it's not working." Get rid of him. How we've done with every other bloody coach the past.
Yeah. I suppose the other question is, and I felt bad for Jason Demetrio on this. Whether you think his stance was right or wrong, and it probably turned out to be wrong, that he had a very player-led focus on his coaching.
Yeah. And
he put his faith in those boys, and they let him down. Will the boys let Benji down? I don't know if he's as player-focused. He seems very hands-on. He's always out there in the field, and the boys will say he's still got it. But I hope that they don't quit. Yeah. That's all you can ask from people. You just don't quit. Just have a dig. And I think they will.
Yeah. I think if there's anyone that can get the boys to rise up to an occasion, it's probably Benj.
Off the field, and I think on the field it's Jerome Luai.
Yeah.
It just hypes you up, man. And he believes, and he'll just drag you by the bootlaces with him. I think he'll make a huge difference.
Yeah. I think he's quite possibly the most important signing in West Tigers history.
The one negative thing to be wary of is, I suppose, Jerome hasn't tasted much defeat.
Yeah.
I understand he's lost some origins and lost a grand final to Melbourne, but he hasn't really sustained unsuccess.
Yeah.
So what does that do to a man who's used to this, who finds himself getting beaten down?
Yeah.
And can he rise out of that? Hopefully that won't happen. But it will. They will just string losses together. What will you do in that time?
Yeah.
But isn't he have a ridiculous winning percentage of 60 or 70% or higher?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, Tigers would be probably the opposite. My crazy predictions for this coming year. I think Dolphins make the 8.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think that'll be a surprise team. I think people have sort of written them off now that Bennett's gone to Souths.
Yep, I agree. I back up Christian Wolf. I believe in him. Yep.
Yeah. I think he's great. And I think I think they'll go. I think they'll keep growing as a team. Mm-hmm. And I think they could potentially be in that bottom half of the 8.
Do you have 8. Tigers making the 8? Truly,
Tigers, yes.
Yeah, because I've hyped you up.
Well,
you already believed.
I already believed.
Good.
I've been telling people this whole time. If there's anyone who's as delusional West Tigers fan, it's me. I thought we were going to win the comp last year after we beat Sharks at Leichhardt. But I also think Bunnies to miss the 8.
Okay.
I just don't think they're going to see a crazy. I think they all think Wayne Bennett's the Messiah and he's going to come and save their club, and I just don't think he will. I think they've got a lot of issues there. A lot of issues that haven't been addressed, and I think it's a Band-Aid solution to get rid of a coach and sign Bennett to come back. I don't know. Obviously, Bennett's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. Bennett's a great coach.
I still believe in Bennett magic, and I know those boys like Cody Walker and Latrell do, and belief is a big thing for them.
Yeah.
From an aesthetic point of view, looking at Latrell in preseason photos, he looks hard. His face looks hard. And I imagine he's put in quite a bit of effort. It always seems to be with Latrell, it's up here. The body is relatively fine. He's got the strength, he's got the power, he's got all these things. It's just, is he in here?
Yes.
And I did appreciate Gus made a good comment. You know, there apparently was that phone call between Trell and Bennett. And Trell said to Bennett, I need you. And Bennett said, yeah, I know you do. And Gould said, that's worrying that a 25 or however old Latrell is, old man, is saying, I need someone else for performance. So long term, I think you're right on the culture thing. Short term, is it a Band-Aid or is it like a steroid injection or an adrenaline shot that just gives them that
boost? Yeah.
And then off the back of a winning culture, you actually can start to address things in the room.
Yeah.
Or is it that pulling that last thread that sees things unravel, which, you know, what's his name? Sam Burgess seemed to leave the club over, and rumours or murmurs of disharmony and things like that. But if anyone can fix it from a top-down relationship point of view, it's Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't doubt that. I just think there's a lot more going on there than even the rumblings about, you know, Russell Crowe potentially wanting to sell the club. You know, like obviously he came out and said it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Which I love when someone does that. I love that. I love that when a player or a CEO or you know whatever, when they just come out and go, this is just a total load of crap. But I just think if there's that betting put out, it's probably being put out by someone inside the club. For a newspaper to actually print that.
Yep.
And if that's being put out by someone inside the club, even if it's bullshit, there's someone inside the club that wants to sort of fuck with the club.
Well, they've got a motivation, don't they? Yeah.
And I think, where there's smoke, there's usually a little bit of fire.
Yeah.
And I've learned that with Tigers for a long time because there's always a leak at our club.
Yep.
Always someone trying to unravel something, you know, and that culminated in years of instability. So, you know, if that's happening at South as well, then, you know, take it from me, South fans. It's not good. And another thing, a prediction for this season is Laurie Daly to actually win the series 3-0.
That's an interesting one. So, like, when you talk about Laurie coming back in as the position, and you think back to 2017, I think was his last year as coach, and the way that all just really ended. You know, like he was literally, I think he finished the Origin series. He was sacked and he appeared on NRL 360 to kind of talk through his sacking, which is pretty shell-shocked, it appeared, and then kind of just never heard of again. Although apparently he has done some coaching in the background. Everyone's said he's done nothing, but he has done some stuff with the Indige boys, I believe. It seemed odd. But then you talk to, who was it? I think it was Matty John. Someone said, what do you think about it? And he said, I love it. And a lot of people saying that he's learnt the lessons from the first time around and he'll be ripping and raring to go.
Yeah.
I want to believe it. There's that nagging doubt in the back of my mind, but I want to believe it. But we've certainly got the squad to get it done. I mean, we're overpowered. We've got too many good players to squeeze into positions. You know, so you're going to have Mitchell Moses and Nathan Cleary. You're going to leave Jerome Luai out. Are you going to have Trell and Tommy? What do you do with Stephen Crichton and Bradman Best? We're overburdened with talent.
Yes.
So, but that's always been New South Wales, hasn't it? We've always got the thing on paper.
Yeah,
there's always the heart to get it done.
And there's also so many options. I think that's what made Queensland so dominant too. Is you sort of had your set positions for a long time. You know, you had your Billy Slater, Thurston, Cronk, Cameron Smith, GI.
Meeting GI yesterday, I thought, stuff trying to tackle that bloke out at centre.
Oh my God, he's huge.
And retire immediately.
He's at the Tigers now, actually.
Yeah, he's NRLW assistant coach, I believe.
Coach, yeah. With Kimwally is still coach, or maybe not.
Not sure about that one.
Yeah, because they weren't terrible last year. Yeah, fuck.
Love you, Kezzy Apps. One of my favourite NRLW players, Kezzy Apps.
Yeah, she's cool. Yeah. Yeah, Tigers actually have a pretty good team on paper, NRLW. They just couldn't string it together. I don't know. I don't think their season's long enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they should play a little bit longer. Yeah,
I wonder what the logistics are of that. If it's venues, player contracts, TV rights, how does that all fit in?
Yeah.
But I really love what's going on in the NRLW. Like, he's going strength to strength, highly marketable.
Yeah.
Those girls are becoming like real athletes now. Like, there's the Millie Boyles, Julia Robinson playing wing for the Broncos. You know, it's just a tank.
Yeah.
Isabel Kelly and Jasmine Strange, super marketable figures. Girls look up to them. It is a really good product, and performance-wise, it's a really good product too. there's going to be haters out there. There's going to be people who are saying, "Oh, the men fund the game." Yeah, but that happens in a lot of other areas. The government funds stadiums. You don't complain about that. Well, some people do. But I think it's all heading in a really good direction for the girls' game, and it is far superior to the AFLW, and that is objectionably true. Oh, sorry. What's the word I'm looking for? Not
subjectively.
Objectively true. Take that, AFL people.
It is, because you look at the AFLW and it's not a great product. It's really not. I don't like to talk shit about a sport, but I will talk shit about the AFL any day of the week. I mean, the AFL to me is not a great product either, but you go down to Melbourne and they fucking love it.
Yeah, I find it hard to watch. It's just so scrappy.
It's so scrappy. Yeah. I'd rather, I'm a big NFL fan.
Yeah, okay.
So
I find that tough too for me.
Really? Yeah. Too long or too...
Too long.
Yeah.
Too long, too stop start.
That's what most people say. Like I was watching the Ravens-Steelers last game of the regular season with... he actually used to be my footy trainer. And he's like, I could really get behind this if it was just not so stop start.
Yeah, just flow.
And and I was like, no, I get that. He's like, because the actual concept, like the actual game is a good game, but it's just so the fact that an hour game takes 3 hours to play.
Same with the NBA. Like I appreciate the aspects of the NBA, and I really love how it's crossed over into like hip hop culture and fashion, and I think that's just like a real thing and something the NRL is trying to actually tag onto.
Yeah.
But I can only just watch the last quarter. It's just too... anytime there's some kind of momentum, it's just all halted. And I get that that's part of the strategy, playing the clock and having timeouts, but it's just not me.
Yeah. I'm a massive Baltimore Ravens fan, so...
I do love Ray Lewis.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Josh Dugan, I think, used to have a Ray Lewis tattoo on his thigh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt. So he must be a Ravens fan too. But yeah, Ray Lewis, God, what a goat. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, God, that man needs to win a Super Bowl. We get so close every year, and it's just like, fuck, when is it going to happen? I thought this year maybe, with Derrick Henry too.
Why Baltimore?
Why do I go for Baltimore?
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons. One of the big reasons, actually, The Blind Side, the movie.
Yes, yeah.
So Michael Orr signed with Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
And I just thought, fuck, I just fell in love with that story. But yeah, it just became, once I actually got a Michael Orr jersey from like Paddy's Markets.
Oh, yeah.
Like just a shitty, homemade jersey, rip-off one. But my brother was he's always been an Oakland Raiders fan, so he sort of got me into the NFL in general. But yeah, Baltimore, once I picked them, I stuck with them.
Yeah. And they're cool color scheme too.
Yeah, mad color scheme, and I just really love the culture of their stadium is beautiful. It's like a old school brick stadium.
Ah, okay.
There's no cover at all. It's all just this, just a massive what you sort of see in college football,
sure,
more so than a new sort of stadium. I just think that's cool, and obviously I became a massive Flacco fan.
Yeah.
When he was quarterback, watched him win the Super Bowl in 2013.
Over his brother playing for San Fran, is that right? Or was that
no, that was the coaches.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So Harbaugh, John Harbaugh was our coach, and then his brother was the coach of 49ers at the time. So so a lot of people thought that was going to be the Super Bowl last year, but obviously Chiefs had to win. Taylor Swift is worth too much money to the NFL, unfortunately, and we got cheated out of that one, just like Buffalo got cheated out of this one. So,
well, there you go.
But at least they didn't win the Super Bowl. Go Eagles, go Birds.
Yeah.
But
EGLES, or have it spelled apparently in Philly.
Oh, have you seen all them? Even their mayor,
many.
Even their mayor can't fucking spell it. But I'm very excited for the NFL to come over here. I think it's going to be awesome.
Melbourne?
MCG is not the right place to do it.
Yeah,
should have been Allianz.
Yeah.
I think you're thinking you're bigger than you are in Australia to try and fill a 100,000 seat stadium.
Yeah.
Think of how many people watch WWE, how many kids, and they couldn't even sell out that.
Did they just get outbid? Like the Victorian government?
Yeah. But in saying that, why not play it at
the Storm's home ground, Amy Park or whatever it is?
Yeah, I wouldn't probably put it at Amy Park. It's probably a little bit too small. That's only fits about 25,000, I think.
Yeah, okay.
But you've got what is it, Marvel Stadium with a roof on it too.
Yeah, okay.
So it's poor weather. NFL players are used to playing with the roof closed.
I wonder what the comparison in corporate facilities would be, because that seems to be like the big money spinners corporates.
Yeah,
So
it's huge. It's still like a 55,000 seat stadium.
I just wonder if the corporates in the MCG outweigh the corporates in Marvel, and like so the loss in seatage, like maybe
that's true.
I don't know. I'm making it up.
Yeah, because they don't make their money in just general ticket sales. Really.
Yeah,
it's mostly the corporate boxes and the suites and all that. That's where the big dollars are.
Yeah, and $9 for a hot dog and those kind of things.
Yeah,
it's outrageous.
Yeah. You want to hear something outrageous?
Go, give it to me.
I was just at the UFC in Sydney.
Yeah.
Look, love it to death, right? I will pay any money. I don't care that I'm paying $500 to sit up the top, right? But when it comes to me buying a bottle of fucking water on the day, don't charge me $7.90 for a bottle of water, you pricks, Kudos Bank Arena.
It probably was like went to Combat the other night for the Indigenous Maori game, and it was $8.40, I think, for the 0 alcohol beer.
Oh, Jesus.
So for dirty water, it's $8.40.
Yeah.
It's $10.40, I think, for 4X. Why are they serving 4X at Combank?
I have thought that too. I think it's just...
I mean, it's all owned by Lion Nathan anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
Or Asahi, I think,
Yeah, because 4X is a weird beer to have at a Parramatta Stadium, you know, but it is what it is. The one thing I like about 4X, though, drinking at a stadium, is that because it's already made as a mid-strength beer, they can sell it as a mid-strength beer, because...
Oh, you say you're not downgrading it, you mean?
Yes. Yep. So, like, when you get, like, a CC or a VB at a stadium, well, I think they've just changed this now to you can have full strength. But
where was it? Somewhere changed it, but other places didn't. And
yeah,
I think
it changed in the eastern suburbs first.
That's right. That's what I was about to say.
You Westies still need to drink
the class divide.
Yeah,
you can't be trusted with that extra 0.4% alcohol or whatever it is.
It was like COVID all over again. People in Bondi were allowed to go for a walk, and we had a curfew.
You know, I lived in Sydney for that 1 year. I lived in Palm Beach
in 2021.
I think so. Yeah. Whatever the big COVID year was, when like Gladys was on TV every day.
2021.
Yeah. So we moved to Palm Beach. We lived there for a month, and then for the next 3 months we were in lockdown. And we moved from like country Queensland. So I'm sorry, this is a huge digression.
No, this is fine.
But when the like regulations started to get lifted a little bit, and like you could meet in picnics of 3, we went to just the Pittwater side, and the kids are having a swim in the beach and whatever else. And one rug sat down, and the next rug sat down, the next, and they're all part of the same group. And you could tell they're from the eastern suburbs, because who wears long sleeve shirts and long sleeve pants to the beach? And they all had Yeti coolers and all that, all this money. And they thought, oh yes, it's very COVID safe.
Yeah.
And we went to Manly, no one had masks on, anything like that. And then I hear about people in the western suburbs that had police helicopters flying over their houses.
Telling kids to stop playing basketball in the streets.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't care that people were out about enjoying sunshine in Bondi and wherever else, because I was vehemently against all the restrictions.
Sure.
So I thought, good on them. But I just hated that there was such a divide in that we were treated so differently. You know, it was all right maybe in the Hawkesbury and that, but like Blacktown especially.
Where was the
treated
tanks?
like shit.
Remember there was tanks? Was that made up? Was that true?
Well, I'm not sure, but they did use, I knew they had the police choppers, but I think they even used military choppers at some points.
Yeah, right.
To bring in for the curfew and whatnot in some LGAs, and all those LGAs were all Western Sydney LGAs, Blacktown area and Doonside. And I just thought, that's fucking unfair, especially to yell at kids to get inside for playing basketball. Sorry. Even if they get COVID, they're not going to die.
There's more COVID in their house than outside their house.
Exactly. The safest place to be was outside.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, not to get too political.
All behind us now.
Yes.
Until COVID 2.0.
Yeah. Until they realise they need to get rid of all those vaccinations they bought. Now, okay, we'll sort of finish up this episode with going through round 1. Just predictions, snap predictions for we won't do the Vegas games because they would have already been played by the time this episode comes out. I will say who I think is going to win. Actually, I think Raiders actually beat Warriors, and I think Penrith beat Cronulla.
Yeah, I think that's a shoo-in. Although the one detriment to Panthers is they travel very poorly overseas. Never won a World Club Challenge.
That's true.
Although half of those have been in Australia or opting out of playing for them. Both, Panthers and Warriors are favourites by the looks of it. I want to believe for Wars fans, Raiders will be gritty. I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say Wars will stand up, but the Panthers win. Yeah.
All right, your Chookies and Brisbane Broncos. That's actually a cracker first round game.
Oh, okay. Now I see what I've done wrong here. Yes, I won't be able to go to it, I think. It's in Allianz. So, I won't be able to go to that one. I think Brisbane win that and win that well.
And then my West Tigers, which I've stupidly booked Drake tickets for the same night.
Is Drake still alive? I thought Kendrick buried him.
I actually love Kendrick. It's funny because I'm not a Drake and I'm a big Kendrick fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I do like Drake too.
I don't particularly listen to either. I like the Super Bowl performance. It was very good.
I thought it was great. Yeah, a lot of people dragged it, but they're mostly white people who don't understand hip hop culture, so that's fine. I think Tigers win that one.
They're favourites. I'm going to back them in.
Okay, Dolphins and Bunnies.
This is the very early. I didn't realise this until now. This is the Bennett game. So Bennett switching sides.
Yes.
We are playing at Suncorp on a Friday night. Wow. Brisbane Broncos eat your heart out. Yeah. Friday night going to the Dolphins. For that fact alone, fins up, baby.
Fins up. I'm going to go fins as well, actually. I think they're going to be the surprise packet of 2025. I don't think they're going to be top 4, but no. I think they'll finish about 5th or 6th, I reckon. St. George and Bulldogs. I am going to go Saints.
Wow. Doggies for me.
I think Saints win this. I think Bulldogs have a slow start to the year, but I think they really find their form and hit their straps at the right time, and I think they'll finish top 4.
Doggies top 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll be there and thereabouts, 4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah. But I do think they'll have a bit of a slow start, just based on what's happened in previous years for different clubs. I just think teams that get rid of their cobwebs at the start of the year and hit their straps at the right time. Roosters have done it plenty.
Yeah.
So I see Saints winning that. I thought Saints actually put on quite a good performance last night. Obviously, it's just a trial, but I think they'll have a lot of support with the buys they've had. I think they've bought pretty well, actually. And
it was a relatively strong squad from the Roosters.
Yeah.
They walked over.
Both teams actually played quite a strong side. So, I thought Saints did quite well. Manly or Cowboys?
Manly. The key, we say it every year, is Tommy Turbo. I love Tommy Turbo. One of my favourite players in the NRL. The whole Trbojevic. Actually, Jake is my favourite Trbojevic. I love Jake. But without Tommy, it really is that, are you premiership worthy? There's Lehigh Hopewadi floating in that mix as well. But you need Tom. He's just that good to win a premiership.
And without him, they are such a different team. They really are. I'm going to go Manly as well. Then Melbourne and Parramatta.
Well, I only see that going one way and one way hard. That's Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say that against any team Parramatta's versing because I fucking hate Parramatta. Awesome. Now, we will come back in the second part of this and we'll be talking a bit about you and sort of your journey in content creation. But I do hear that you've got something to give me.
Oh, yes. Now, Matty, you are a big West Tigers fan. Well, I have
West Tigers
dug out from the vault here. Where's the camera? This is a 2002 West Tigers away jersey. This is not a replica. This is the real deal original stuff. And one of the beautiful things with these jerseys from this kind of time period used to have these little NRL badges here. These often would fall off. So the fact that this still is on here is a very good sign. Made by Classic, cotton collar, synthetic body. Matty, this is yours.
Thank you, brother. I love it. I'm going to wear that in the in part 2 of our episode. So
yes.
And you know what? I've actually been looking for this design for a long time now because you can get this is a remake one, right? Yep. Of the home one. But these are hard to find. Very hard to find. And I love the orange they use too. They don't use the same color orange anymore.
Yeah, they've shifted away from it.
But I love this. Yeah. So thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
So I'm going to go whack this on and then we'll get cracking for part 2. But So everyone, remember guys, speak free with MattyG.